Hello, everyone. We are live here on the OpusClip YouTube channel. We are going to be discussing today how you can make more money on YouTube Shorts with AI. And I'm going to be joined with a special guest here in a moment, Roberto Blake. And I'm very excited for this topic. We're also going to be talking about Agent Opus. If you haven't heard, it's a new tool from OpusClip. We have a link in the description where you can check out what it is and how to join the waitlist. But I feel this is going to be a great way that you can make some money on YouTube. And I know the person I will have on, if you've for some reason never heard of Roberto Blake, he can do himself very much justice with his intro. But I'm so excited to speak with Roberto here today. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Roberto, you are live. Welcome.
Hey, great to be back. Great to be here with you again and be back, Andrew, and everything like that. The boys are back.
Yes, we are, and people are excited. I see Homekeeping Channel. I see Connor from Opus is in.
Yeah.
So excited to see everyone. So, Roberto, we have been getting questions here. I help, look at the comments. I looked at other channels I've been running, and a question that I keep seeing is, can you actually make money on YouTube Shorts? I would love your read on this one in particular.
Yeah, so in the early days with the YouTube Partner Program for Shorts, it was the YouTube Creator Fund. And with that, the bonus payouts were intermittent and not necessarily reliable, and so the money was iffy. Then when YouTube moved to Shorts ad pool, the monetization was somewhere between 1 cent to 10-cent RPMs tops. Now it's normalized, to where I'm seeing multiple creators, and I've worked with, even in gaming specifically in the last year and a half, I've worked with over 120 gamers because I've been working with a mobile gaming company coaching content creators. And on gaming, which has notoriously low RPMs in YouTube anyway, usually $2 to $4 RPMs in general, for their shorts content, we've seen 20 and 25 cent RPMs right now. This is still early days. YouTube Shorts advertising is less than 3 years old right now. So this is early days, and it's drastically increased in revenue in a very short period of time. More advertisers are coming to YouTube. I don't know if you saw that YouTube went from 35 billion in revenue to now 50 billion in revenue a year under Neil Mohan. I believe it's his second or going on third year in as the leader of YouTube. He's killing it. More advertisers are coming to the platform than ever. Now with AI, more startups are advertising in YouTube than ever, and more advertisers that already existed in the platform have started to embrace short form vertical video advertising. So the ad inventory for shorts is still thin. It's early days. But
No, 100%.
building that audience for when we get to 30 to 50 cent RPMs on shorts. If gamers can get to 20 cents to 25 cents on RPMs, we're going to see people getting 30 and 50 cent RPMs, I believe, in the next 18 months, 3 years tops. And then we still don't know if TikTok US is going to flop or not. If it does, advertisers are going to flee TikTok. And where are they going to go? The best game in town, YouTube. So I think that it's going to be a thing. And we see Homekeeping Channel. If you put that up there, Housekeep. I think it's,
Homekeeping Channel.
Homekeeping Channel, 23 cents euro on shorts on 2 of her videos. So already, and so for that, I think that's close to a 30-cent equivalent for the US. So it's already happening, and it's not just US, it is global. Shorts is making money even for international creators, Andrew, and I've seen it. I've worked with enough of them. I've worked with people in the United Arab Emirates. I've worked with people in South America in the gaming niche around some of these games like Brawl Stars, Clash of Clans, and Clash Royale. And it's not even the biggest creators either. It's small creators too. So what I'm seeing, and my belief is this: the problem is that people only remember how shorts started and not where it is today. The other problem is that people are conflating a one-to-one comparison with a shorts video to a regular video. That's a mistake, Andrew. And even they do the same thing with live streaming when they feel live streaming doesn't help their channel. Yet, if they got one $10 super chat donation, given most people's RPMs, that's worth anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 views from regular passive viewers from just one person giving you a $10 super chat. So creators are wrong about this. The most valuable commodity is live streaming. And then shorts isn't that bad if you look at it as the equivalent of effort that it takes. The effort of one regular YouTube video is the effort of 3 to 10 YouTube shorts. At 20 cent RPMs, that's a decent RPM if we're going off of a lower income niche like vlogging or gaming.
Fully agree. And I think that that's something when you think about how much it has evolved. I loved how you started with mentioning what Neil Mohan, the CEO of YouTube, has talked about. One thing he talked about recently is that they're averaging 200 billion with a B daily shorts views. And I
They
think
destroyed
you're,
TikTok.
yes, actually, they in some reports and on some days are actually beating TikTok in views. So I think that while it's some days now, I think they're only going to continue. And I think that is exciting for us as creators. And I love what you mentioned that, we tend to get in our bubble or in our focus. Some people are just making normal videos. Some people are only live streaming. YouTube now supports only podcasting, right? And obviously that can be a combo of them. But I think that what we're seeing as YouTube evolves and as shorts evolves, like it's funny because I still see people, are YouTube shorts just a fad? I would love your thoughts on that question. Do you think they're just a quote fad?
I will be honest with you. The only person who got short form vertical video correct was Shelly Nathan. Shelly Saves the Day. OG Awesome Creator Academy member, YouTube mentor in her own right, and great all around person in the community. You worked with her formally and everything like that. Very sharp, very smart cookie and everything like that. Rubs some people a little rough around the edges, but she's right when she's right, And Shelly correctly decided that vertical video was the future. She saw the trend of what was coming after Vine and Snapchat, and she predicted TikTok correctly. So all credit where credit's due. She's the only one who got it right. I thought vertical short form was going to be a passing fad because I correctly predicted the decline/death of Snapchat. I predicted that correctly. I predicted the death of Vine correctly. Even in terms of young people and their fads, I predicted the death of basically every YouTube competitor, and I've presided over the funeral marches.
Rip
And
VidMe.
rest in peace, VidMe, Vessel.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Omegle. Rest in peace to all of that. Like again, the graveyard of failed social media apps is prolific, but we do have to pour one out for Blab.
Oh man, yes.
You know the so the thing that I would say is that there's a new culture, there's a new consumer, and there is a demand for that product in terms of vertical video. The vertical video product is here to stay and will be with us forever because now there is a community and a culture that has been raised with it just as much as the rest of us have been raised with regular online videos. You and I'm a little older than you, so I was an adult when online video really got going, and YouTube had 15 competitors. Um, you know, so including Vidler. So the thing that I would say is shout out to our friend Rob Sandy and rest in peace Vidler. But the thing I would say is that we saw so many platforms come and go and die that the instinct that okay, a lot of these things are trends or fads, but people thought social media was a fad. They thought that was a trend that would die out. And then they decided it was so powerful that it was a threat to democracy. But they didn't believe that they could use it to sell sneakers and sell tomatoes to people, or that you could sell anything with social media until they did. And so that's the key. And what I would say is a lot of us called vertical video wrong. And I'm here to tell you that vertical video is here to stay. And as someone who was not an enjoyer of vertical video and short form video, now that we have the fact that it can be up to 3 minutes as a normalization of the platforms like YouTube and Instagram and such, I'm good with it because now it makes more sense. Now I believe it's actually more amenable to advertisers that makes it lucrative. And I actually believe it's online commerce and shopping, social shopping is the future. I genuinely believe in the social shopping being the evolution of QVC and that, because we grew up with QVC and Home Shopping Network, we understand that kind of consumerism, that impulse buyer, social media and parasocial marketing combined with e-commerce is the future. It's the wave.
I
And
I
so
fully
that's where
agree.
I think that is. So I'm like, short form is valid because of the money in it, because there's a consumer base for it, and content itself is the new consumerism. Content is not just to push products. Content is the product. So I think that that's where we are current state of things. I also think that everyone's underestimating repurposing. Opus is perfect for this because if you're worried about short form not making any money, you're thinking of it wrong, because it's one YouTube short is not equivalent to one YouTube video, like I said. It's equivalent to 3 to 10 YouTube videos. But here's the other kicker: it's not as easy to monetize a regular YouTube video on other platforms as it is a short on other platforms. The repurposing and redistribution of short form across those things, with the ability to make 20 to 30 cent RPMs on YouTube forever on that video, by the way, and then to be able in the first 30 days to make $1 RPMs in TikTok, and then make money off of it in Snapchat based on the views, and then to be able to make money in perpetuity on it on Instagram and Facebook with Reels ads and such, and sometimes them doing bonuses. You can milk that, and then some of those platforms are, unlike YouTube, are repost platforms because they're so feed based that you can use the same video and flip that and upload that same video with no re-editing
Yep.
6 months later and monetize it again with no penalty. And that's in these other platforms. Again, you don't do that in YouTube, but you do that in these other platforms, and you make your money off the same inventory. So make sure you save it and backing up those shorts, and not just trying to re-download them from YouTube. Keep them in full quality. Keep them in a folder. Keep them in the cloud somewhere, and then repurposing and reposting lets you monetize. So again, if you don't think you can make money on short form, you're just uneducated about monetization.
And that's what we're here to help and fill in those gaps. One thing I love that you're talking about, especially in the social shopping angle, is YouTube's actually supporting that now, especially with stickers built into the platform, with, tagging products, whether it's like personal goods, the affiliate shopping network. So they're doing a lot more to help monetize exactly what you're saying. Another thing I want to talk about, I really loved how you talked about community and understanding the different forms of content to use. That actually brings me into something that Opus wants to do, and I will quickly share my screen. And I also, while I am pulling this up, I will ask you this question from the chat, because chat, we're going to have a word on screen where you could get some discounted merch if you win. So let's make sure that we get this done. But the question comes from Driving with Miles. And he's asking, what is the best method when using OpusClip to scale my driving education videos? So Roberto, what would you recommend if he's using, he has normal videos, he's trying to use OpusClip to really scale with his driving education videos?
I think most people's instinct is just to cut things from their long form. Most people's instinct is to cut their long form videos into short form videos. There's some validity to that if you are approaching long form with the idea of having short form moments and segments built into that long form. But my belief is that you should batch record intentional short form videos, because of the fact that they are so short. I think you can set aside 30 to 90 minutes and make dedicated short form videos and batch those up. And then I would take those, especially if it's a type of video where you can do most of it in one take. If it's possible to do most of it in one take, I would shoot multiple videos all the way through in one take in a 30-minute or 60-minute setting, and then upload that 60-minute or 30-minute video to OpusClip and have it cut and clip it into your 10 or 20 short form videos. And so I would be using that batching method. And it lends itself very strongly to what the powers and capabilities of OpusClip are. And what I would also do is I would put my own extra assets in those to OpusClip as you can, in terms of B-roll, graphics, logos, music. And I would then use that, and then use OpusClip as my video editing tool as well, because it does most of the work there for me, and I can make this really simple. And then it means that no individual short form video, from my perspective in Opus, takes more than 5 to 10 minutes per video to turn around. So if you sit there and if you do a 30-minute to 1 hour batching session for your short form, and then you've already done the work on a weekend to have your assets in Opus, now you have this bulk of videos, and then you can do a batch editing session. And if you're only spending 5 to 10 minutes tops on individual short form videos to get them out the door across multiple platforms, mind you, then you're in a position where you can sit there and you go, okay, now I'm going to spend another hour or 90 minutes just on batching out some short form. What are you going to get out of that hour, that 90 minutes? You're going to get somewhere in the neighborhood of like 10 videos minimum in that 90-minute session, 20 minimum, 10 to 20 minimum. And you get to post them across 5 platforms. That's 50 to 100 units out the door, monetizing you. Why wouldn't you do that? Again, I'm going to be doing it.
It's incredible, especially the ease. One thing I often tell folks when it comes to OpusClip is not only is it helpful to like better learn the tool and get content out quicker, it also can support your long form. A common thing I hear from people who, they go, "Oh, I just record off the top of my head. It's very hard for me to do captions." In OpusClip, another thing you could do driving with Miles to help your long form too is just use it for captions. Add captions on screen, and it'll give you a text file or an SRT file. And then you have YouTube captions because YouTube uses that transcript to serve your content in both AI and results. So you can go a little bit deeper and use that. What I'll do is I'll take that text file and open it into either Gemini or GPT or whatever AI you're comfortable using, and I'll ask it to make chapters for me for my YouTube video. So you can go deeper all through OpusClip, and it is very powerful. One thing I want to also mention that's very powerful, see that segue, is we have Agent Opus. So OpusClip, if you're watching, type in hashtag Agent Opus in the chat, and you can get a chance to get some merch, some discounted merch. So let's make sure we have this on screen, getting some people in. Driving with Miles said, "Thank you, learning from you both." So really cool to see that. L here is asking, is there a way to create your own layouts in Opus? Also, how can we add blurs to clips? There are ways you can add different layouts to OpusClip. So what I can do is after this video, I'll put some stuff in the description so that you can learn both of those. It's a little kind of difficult to show on screen with our current topic, but it is possible. And on the blur to clips, there are some ways, but that is some feedback we can also make sure we give to the team. People are entering in hashtag Agent Opus. See Doug Houston in the chat. I'll put his on screen.
If you do need to blur something out, you can also just do it in the YouTube editor after the fact.
Exactly. So with that, we're going to go back to us because we have Doug here helping us out a little bit in terms of that. So thanks, Doug, for putting it on screen. Just type in hashtag Agent Opus if you're interested. I see Need for Crash says, thanks for your advice. He was asking about the scheduler, and I've had some success using the OpusClip scheduler. It depends on where you're using it, how you use it, and things like that. Just because you schedule something using Opus doesn't guarantee, just like anything, it can't guarantee views. But, it is just another tool within the kind of Opus handbook. I do have another question that I've seen in the OpusClip channels, I've seen on my channel, I've seen on yours, and it is, do you recommend, like when creators are launching a channel, do you recommend, that they start with long form and shorts or just shorts? This is a question that is getting asked more and more. If you were to launch a channel right now that shorts are in the mix, Roberto, what are your recommendations on content? Do you start with shorts? Do you wait?
It depends on what your own goals are, and it depends on what fits your lifestyle. I keep saying that you should make YouTube or content creation right size in your life. Right size in your life means different things to different people. So that's also somewhat of a availability conversation. So from a time perspective, here's my thing. I have no issue with being a multi-format creator, even if you're just getting started, to be honest with you. Even in my early content creator journey, and you know this, we didn't have YouTube Shorts, but what was I doing? When I decided I was going to take it more seriously, and I went in 14 months from 20,000 to 100,000, what did I do? I went with daily content. I created literally 6 content pillars. The strategy that I still preach today is 5 to 6 content pillars. And my content pillars were different days of the week. They were literally different days of the week. And I remember them to this day. It was graphic design Mondays, tech Tuesdays, photography Wednesdays, tutorial Thursdays, and YouTube Fridays, small business Saturdays, and I would live stream / live vlog, live cast with my audience on Sundays. That's how it was, and I did that for like 3 years. But in 18 months of doing it, 100,000 subscribers. I'm not telling you guys you have to be that extreme. And I was a full-time freelancer. I didn't have a 50-hour week regular schedule. I had a 60-hour week flex schedule. So my point is, though, I could do that more easily today than I could then, ironically, because of the tools we have, the workflows we have, and the knowledge that we have today, and because of creators like you and me putting stuff out there. Because I'll tell you what the actual answer to a lot of this is, Andrew. The smart thing to do for most niches, not every niche. Oh my God, this doesn't work for my niche, Roberto. But for like 80%, by the way, I've categorized that there are 12 styles of videos on YouTube. I've done my own version of a taxonomy of YouTube, and I had to identify 12 styles of video across about roughly 188 distinct niches. Okay? I can straight up tell you that about for 70, 80% of them, what I'm about to tell you would work. But a lot of people, it's just, well, I just don't want to do it that way. But that's a choice. I'm saying that for a working class creator that has a 40-hour week job, I'm not telling you have to do this much bulk, but I'm saying this is what you could have the capacity to do. If you sit there and you do your videos live to tape and you combine OBS with OpusClip, or if you combine technically StreamYard with OpusClip, here's what I would do. I would use StreamYard or OBS to produce my videos. So what does that mean? It means that if I literally have a phone or two, I can use OBS or StreamYard and basically have a multicam setup, which will reduce my need for editing. Because then by playing Mr. Camera Switcher, I can make my videos look more produced than they need to be. And with modern phones, I used to not be able to say that there was channels with close to 500,000 to 1 million subscribers that only shoot on their phone. I used to not be able to say that. Current generation phones have gotten so good that YouTuber Taylor Bell, vlogging sensation, New York vlogging sensation Taylor Bell, gets almost 100,000 views per video. Her view floor is 50,000 and her view ceiling is 2 million, right? So that's her range, but her norm is about roughly 60 to 120,000 views on every single upload. She has 700,000 subscribers. I'm doing a case study on her. She's phenomenal. I don't work with her, but I'm doing a case study because she's a really great example of what I'm talking about in making your life simple. She just uses her phone. She uses the DJI Mic Mini. The kit for two of these is $160. If you only can buy one, you can buy one new for like $69. You can buy it used probably for a little cheaper. Or you can use the Holly Mark and it's a little cheaper. It's like maybe 30% cheaper. But she uses a phone and she uses a very affordable wireless mic that gives her perfect audio, and she uses her smartphone. She puts the smartphone in a $160 gimbal, the DJI Osmo 7P, which is perfect, turns your phone into a studio. And once in a while, she'll use an $80 newer ring light, Neewer. That's it. She has Casey Neistat level quality for under 500 bones. Okay? Like, you could fudge around with this and get to 300 if you get some of this gear used. And her phone. That's it. What I'm telling you guys is if you use OBS or StreamYard as your production backend, you can sit there and you can film content live to tape style. Use notes to do outlines if you don't want to script your videos. And you can sit there and you can make multiple pieces of content by sitting down in one session. And you could sit there and you could do 3 videos to 5 videos in a row, and they'd be mostly done right then and there, exactly what they need to be. And if you have a spare, phone, or if you have a camera and a phone, or you have 2 phones, you have a spare used phone you can get from somewhere, you can have 2 camera angles, and you can make it a switcher right then and there and make it look much more produced than it is. And then if you want to edit things and B-roll into it, you could do it after the fact, but you can sit there and you can take these individual sessions into Opus, and now you have, if you live streamed most of it, and this could be any kind of content, this could be a lot of content, but you can either live stream it or you can do it live to tape. Either way, you now cut these things up, and you've got VOD clips that can be anywhere from 2 minutes to 8-minute VOD clips out of whatever your video length was, whatever it is. So now you've got multiple pieces of video that you can multi-platform. I'm a platform agnostic guy. You can put it on all the platforms to your heart's content. If you're live streaming, you can multi-stream with StreamYard or OBS to any platform that's willing to give you an audience and pay you. Forget, oh, I want to grow here. Grow your brand. Get an audience wherever you can. Get in where you fit in, so to speak, okay? And now you also can repurpose all of that and have it auto reframed for short form in Opus. You don't even have to import it yourself. It'll auto import live and it'll start clipping for you. And you might have to do minimal work. And then you can sit there and use Opus largely as your editor. So now you're not even relying on editing software if you don't want to. If you want to use editing software, watch our friend Daniel Batal and use DaVinci Resolve for free, or buy Studio one time, $300 for your lifetime, but you can use the free version, and then you can edit to your heart's content with one of the big 3 video editing software. So again, this is reasonable and this is affordable with the tools that are out there. It's very cheap, and you can have high polished videos that look very produced, even look like multicam. You bring it into Opus, you can have animated text captions and look polished. So now you've got, oh, you got 2 cameras because of your phone or whatever you did. You made it look different with multiple layout settings in like OBS or something, blah, blah, blah. And you have these polished videos and you have clips from them to repurpose and cut them down. And then you have the reframing in Opus to give you short form. You can post that to 5, 6 different platforms. You have everything you need. And the thing is, it's not even going to take you 10 hours a week to get out multiple pieces of content now across multiple platforms. And if you're doing something that fits doing a podcast or a morning show, you get to live stream it too. So you're going to get the watch hours. So if I'm a YouTuber, I could sit there and I could just do a morning show every morning before I have to go to work, or every evening do the after hours show for people getting off of work or for the night owls out there. And I could just sit there for an hour and 90 minutes yapping and reacting, or yapping and reacting, or ranting and going off the rails and having a good bloody time with my community. Then I sit there like Asmongold and I farm it for clips. And then I have clips, and then I have shorts. And so I have live, shorts, and VODs. And it's only taking me the live to tape time plus a little bit of pushing a button here or there in Opus, and clipping it, because the Opus will clip my VODs and it'll clip my shorts and it'll schedule and distribute them. I could set it to where I can take my 3 notifications from YouTube every 24 hours off of the stuff. I can even repurpose some of it again in places like TikTok, where I can recycle the same video and monetize it again after my 30 days of monetization is up. Spin the block in 90 days off the same video with no extra work and make some money. Again, it's a no-brainer. It's the simplest workflow in the world, and it's affordable for almost anybody.
And I think that is the main point. It's affordable for almost anybody. And the good thing about, like, going back to the question is, should you start with YouTube Shorts? It's now easier than ever to also include YouTube Shorts if you're doing normal uploads. My only advice I'd give is, if you're going to start with YouTube Shorts, I see this mistake, and it's the mistake we used to see with normal long form videos, where people would have a defined defined target audience. And then they'll start, like, if they're a tech channel, I've seen so many people be like, oh, I'm going to make YouTube Shorts about makeup. Keep the focus. Just because you can make different styles of content with shorts, you've got to keep focused to what your channel is about. Because if you start blowing up on shorts for your makeup tutorials, that's great. And I'm glad that you're finding success there. But if all your main channel videos are, tech tutorials, there's a disconnect. So I've seen that mistake.
Shorts don't hurt long form, because that's the next question we're going to get. Do shorts hurt my long form videos? Let me ask you this, Andrew. If you have a restaurant, does selling drinks, does selling Dos Equis hurt your burger sales?
No.
Right. It's just a different inventory.
Correct.
Selling Dos Equis doesn't help your burgers, though, right?
No.
But it doesn't.
Well, maybe if I beer batter, but that's a different.
But is the point of selling Dos Equis?
Yes.
Is that the point of that is, this is going to increase my burger sales? Is that the point of them?
No.
It's just getting some Dos Equis sales. It's just getting some extra sales on the beer, yeah?
Correct.
That's what shorts are. Shorts are, you're selling drinks and you're selling shots. You're selling shots. It's not affecting our burger sales. It's getting different sales. Shots customers aren't necessarily burger customers. They could be. Some of them will say, you know what? I'm not trying to get lit out here. I need to get something in my stomach here. Let me get some burgers and fries. They might. Most of them won't, speaking from prior experience in my misspent youth in my 20s. So the key, I was a good boy in my 30s. Trying to still be a good boy in my 40s. The key here is, creators have to stop romanticizing the idea that everything is supposed to serve the video or videos that they're in love with. Because like I'm like, oh, I really want people to pay attention to this long form that I worked really, really hard on. Everything is through the lens of that. This is hurting this video. Oh, this is my next upload. Kill off this one. It's like they're romanticizing. They have an unhealthy attachment. I feel like artists have an unhealthy attachment to their favorite piece of work instead of to their portfolio.
True.
And I think that creators have this attachment to either the videos they like making most instead of what's serving the entire channel and their bank account and their career. And the thing is, the reason people say subscribers don't matter is because it's not giving them the thing they want. When people say subscribers don't matter, they're saying subscribers don't matter because having a bunch of them doesn't guarantee me absolutely this many views or a view to sub ratio that makes me feel less embarrassed. That's all it is. That's why creators have an unhealthy attachment to view to sub ratio. It's a way of validating, see, my channel is not struggling. See, my channel is good. See, my channel is this because I have 10% of my subs. Oh, I have active subs. There's no such thing as active subs. If everybody in here goes to their YouTube analytics right now, goes to their lifetime views and sees how many of those came from subscribers, they're going to find most of them that only 20% of their lifetime views ever came from their subscribers, and that like 80 to 50% of their views were non-subscribers. There is no such thing as active subs. It is a myth. That is something from YouTube of 2012. There have not been such thing as active subscribers in over a decade because YouTube as a company killed it. There used to be, don't get me wrong, you grew up watching PewDiePie, you grew up watching OG YouTubers from the 2010s and everything like that. I understand why you might believe that. And maybe but you have to remember, back in our day, YouTube used to have a homepage that had a section, Andrew, that said, True. From your subscriptions. They had a section for the videos you were subscribed to. They killed that off between 2014 and 2015 with the YouTube Channel 1 initiative. You remember, you were starting in your career back that you remember. They killed that off. And everyone, big YouTuber, made a video about it. They killed off that on the YouTube homepage. Then it was like, well, we're still putting videos you are subscribed to in the homepage. And then they killed that off in 2016. They went to a purely algorithmic feed almost a decade ago, and it has nothing to do with what you're subscribed to. As a viewer, what you're subscribed to doesn't matter. So understand, it's not that subscribers don't matter, because they do. They matter for social proof. There are people who publicly vouched for you. It's votes you got, basically, in your high school popularity contest. And that's a great
and feature
marketing
unlocks.
tool. And it unlocks features. 1,500 subscribers unlocks tier 1 monetization. Full monetization at 1,000. YouTube shopping, I think at now 10,000 you get YouTube shopping affiliate.
Still
YouTube
10.
Shopping, at 10,000 YouTube shopping affiliate. You get shopping merch at 1,000 still. Okay. Mm-hmm. It unlocks features. Play buttons at 100K, plus verification checkmark at 100K. Gold play button at 1 million. So subscribers matter because that status and social proof is also a filter for brands and brand deals. Also, easier to get collaborations with people you like when you have a bigger subscriber count.
True.
People say yes to you. It opens doors.
I will also say, to your point, YouTube says if you can get anywhere, on average, on a YouTube channel, subscribers will make up 0.5 to 2.5% of viewership. And they say if you can get higher than that, that's above average. So if you look at a channel with 100,000, we'll keep it nice and round and even. 2.5 in the grand scheme of things is a fraction of the views they could get compared to
PewDiePie's views. PewDiePie is the actual biggest YouTuber, because every other big YouTuber, bigger than PewDiePie, is a media company, not a YouTuber. PewDiePie is still a regular guy. He just happens to be rich now. PewDiePie is still just a guy making videos that has 1 or 2 editors. That's a normal YouTuber. That's like someone normal. Someone working a 9-to-5 job can be that. They won't. I'm not saying they'll be PewDiePie and have 100 million. I'm saying PewDiePie is not doing something so extravagant that someone couldn't pick up and do that. And guess what he gets? On his videos, PewDiePie gets between 1.5 million to 6 million views. He gets between 1% to 6% of his 100 million subscriber audience to watch his videos. No one should think their channel is dead or cry if that's what they're getting in a view to sub ratio. But view to sub ratio is meaningless because YouTube killed it over a decade ago when they stopped making subscribers a priority on the YouTube homepage feed for viewers. They stopped making subscribe relevant to viewers. They made it harder to convince people to subscribe to YouTubers because you weren't going to get videos based on subscribing anymore. And then they damn sure killed view to subscriber ratio when they introduced YouTube Shorts, because now when you see someone not have a bunch of views on their long form, but then you see the Shorts tab exist, you go, oh, they got Shorts views. Got it. It doesn't matter anymore. It's still just a cultural thing from YouTubers on Reddit and a couple of big YouTubers from back in the day. And view to subscriber ratio doesn't matter. It's a nonsense metric, and it works out really good for YouTube consultants to preach about it because it lets them make more money.
And a lot of times the reason the consultants focus on it is because you have to go what your audience is looking for. And I think
Sure.
that goes back to the shorts conversation, right? Like you have to meet the audience in their interest, right?
Yeah.
Another thing I've seen with shorts is people will just make net new shorts and they're just not focused on their audience, like I said. But another thing you can do, and this is what I've been really excited about, and this kind of goes into what Driving with Miles, what he has to say as a question. I have hundreds of drafts on my phone and desktop. How can I use OpusClip to scale this? Can both of you tell us how you would scale this out? So if I have hundreds of drafts, like videos like I've just filmed on my phone, but it's not really edited, it's not really bare, you can upload those individually to Opus. You can ask it either to just add captions, maybe not clip the draft just so that you can use it there. Then you can use the tool to add B-roll for specific words, specific moments, specific sections. And because you have hundreds of these already ready to go, you are already kind of in a good position where you can just put those into Opus, ask it to add those captions. Then once it does all the stuff in Opus, you could then save them either to Google Drive, whatever, like Dropbox, whatever. Put it on your phone, use YouTube's own mobile supported features on your phone. So now you're getting the power of OpusClip, you're getting the power of YouTube Shorts native, and it's funny because YouTube will count it as native through YouTube, although, you made it an OpusClip. And then you're getting the benefits of both. So if I had hundreds of videos that I just haven't really had the time to get to, I actually think OpusClip is the perfect solution to that problem. And I'll also say, I think that when you look at those, you can also use Opus's scoring to tell you what it thinks will be the best on a scale of 1 to 100.
So you can make
and
that
then,
a priority.
yes, and I would use that to prioritize which ones to post first and maybe which ones I see and just experiment with. Roberto, I'll pass it to you. What would you do if you had 100 videos on your phone, drafts just not edited?
Most of that same workflow, except my difference is I would start with Google Drive because Opus can connect directly to Google Drive and
True.
use a Google Drive link. So for me, it starts with me being able to know I have a secure backup, and I'm also clearing the resources off of my phone, and then I also have less anxiety about trying to upload something from my phone and then losing
True.
connection or signal or any of that, or bandwidth or data or whatever. So I'm going to theoretically turn on my VPN, go use someone else's public Wi-Fi with my VPN and abuse their data plan, and then upload everything to Google Drive in that moment, and then like tongue in cheek, but also yeah. And so then I'm gonna upload to Google Drive. Now I know that everything is there. I'm probably gonna take a little time to try and organize some of those things and label them
Yeah.
correctly, just for my own sanity while they're there,
Yeah.
because there's no point in trying to do that on my phone. There's no way to really organize this in a meaningful way on my phone. So now I have them in Google Drive. I have them. I feel secure about that. I probably start clearing some stuff from my phone, free up some resources. Then I organize it in my Google Drive, connect Google Drive to OpusClip, link stuff from over there, and then start this batching process of OpusClip, clipping everything, prioritize everything, use the scoring, and then review some stuff, favorite some stuff, and go, okay, that's a priority, that's a priority. Then I start my tweaking. I work on the things that have the highest score and need the least amount of work. I start doing that, and then I start chunking things out. I make some internal notes in Opus for myself so that while I'm chunking things out, it's like, hey, this one probably going to want to spin the block up, re-upload this to TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook again in 90 days. That way I can make money off it again. So I like make a notation of the ones that'll do that. And so that's how I would use the Opus clip workflow there. If stuff performs really well, I might consider how to use Opus clip to make compilations out of things that might perform, that
True.
overperformed, and put best performers together in a compilation. And so then I might use that and abuse that a little bit.
No, that's smart. And another thing you could also do, and I'll bring OpusClip on screen, is they now have this trending analysis, which is actually powered by Google Gemini, which if you notice this tag, that means this is a trending topic within what you're talking about. I would also use that to decide what I'm putting out, because if something's trending, the quicker you can get to that, the better you can potentially do it. Again, just because it's a trending topic doesn't guarantee its success, but the fact that that's how quickly we could jump into it and it identifies that using those connections that Opus has, that's something that, if you don't have a tool like this, you don't have the guarantee that you're like, yes, sometimes you can look at the Google Trends tab and there are ways to do it, but just having another set of eyes to be like, hey, this is trending currently, you should probably get on this, that's huge, because that gives you another pair of hands to help you out.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing I wanted to talk about, and I see this from Pearl, and Pearl's asking, how would you make a long for art video into easy to understand shorts? I do mostly character creation, reimagining of already made characters, or D&D character creation. So how would I take my long form, process of creating characters and make it into vertical video?
You don't. You don't.
Ooh.
Here's what you do. You take the behind the scenes of your art video and you're not trying to translate that in itself to short. You're using the process and the recording of you doing the character and the design and all of that. You're using that as the footage, kind of like B-roll. You're using that as the footage. And what you're going to do is you're going to make original content into short form using this footage and do narrative storytelling. And the narrative short form storytelling is you talk about the fact that it's like, as a kid growing up, I felt awkward and I really wanted to experience these nerdy habits with my friends, but I never felt like something really stood out to me. And then while it's happening, you have this character being drawn and it's like getting the visual and the thing. It's like, so I started making my own original characters for D&D and everything like that. And, here's what it meant to me. And so you're not teaching something with the art or talking about, you're just doing a narrative thing that's emotionally compelling, and then you're just using the visual as footage. So that would work with stuff that's your mind. If it's a reimagining, you lead with and everything. So and so is the greatest of all time, and they did all these feats and everything like that. And that's why they're my favorite character and everything like that. And I want to show you how badass they could look if only this. So you do that, and it's a reimagining, or you do a what would so and so look like if done as a this. An example of this is I forget the name, but there's a shorts creator who does ranking videos of Pokemon reimaginings and Pokemon fusions, fake Pokemon fusions. So this kind of thing. So it's like, so I would also even tap into that trend with other characters of using if I was an artist and I wanted to piggyback off of intellectual property that exists while still having something unique to mine, and in some ways kind of sort of skirting copyright, I would start making fusions of franchises. That lets me take two fan bases that may or may not even overlap and reach both of them through algorithmic topical surfacing, and then still have them care about my art and art style, because now I'm making something that doesn't exist, and now it doesn't belong to the IP holders, because I took literal inspiration and I fused things from franchises that don't otherwise exist in the wild. That is a derivative work that passes copyright. So I would be doing things like that if I was an original artist channel. I've again, a lot of times I'm super businessy. I grew up as a traditional artist. I still paint, but the thing is I don't publish that on social media. Like, I'm an artist in the sense that when you want to see my art, come to my house. Like, if you're allowed to come to my house, you get to see my art. You get to go to any room in my house, and you get to see something I took a photo of or that I painted. And people ask me all the time, where'd you buy that? Where'd you get that? It's like, I made it. That's the kind of artist I am. I'm not trying to big myself up. I'm just saying that a lot of people don't think I can give artist advice, because I stopped monetizing my art a long time ago, and I just make art for me, like a old school traditional purist in terms of art. I don't bother to sell. No, it's like, you can't buy it. No, I'm not selling. I'm that kind of artist. Now, there's nothing wrong with trying to be an artist on social media. But if you're going to be an artist on social media and you want to monetize art, you can't think like an artist. You have to sell like an agency.
Yeah. You also need to think that I like what you mentioned. Like, there's other storytelling potentials outside of the main video. And I think that that was a great piece of advice, especially. And whether it is your own character creation, Pearl, or it is something that maybe it's a character you're inspired by, right? You can also tell a story, right? I'm just thinking characters, like, you could maybe draw a version. Like, you mentioned Fusion. My mind keeps going to Dragon Ball. So there's many fusions in that show. But, like, maybe you also tell your opinion on something, and then you can start conversation. It's like, hey, and if you want to see the full drawing of this, check out the full video here. I've actually helped a few art channels in that way, where they will use storytelling to talk about the behind the scenes process, and then they use it to say, and if you want to see the full drawing, that's the kind of bridge that actually gets people to click over on the related shorts. That's something you can also build into and experiment with. And so that is some advice I'd give there.
Exactly. I also, with regard to like art channels and things of that nature, again, think about it like this. The revival of Magic the Gathering is partly from its collaborations with other franchises and then creating
True.
new stories in its own universe and a new narrative for both of those franchises, and it's attracting a lot of people. So you can do that as an artist with a lot of different things of combining genres and things and reimagining things, and then you get to borrow from the fan base of existing IP, and then you get the transference of caring about you because they can't get that version of a character from the existing rights holder because you've made something completely different and new because it's wildly derivative. And by the way, when you do a fusion, call it a new name because then that's not, oh, it's not that it's not that thing, it's my thing. It's, you know, because it's now it's different and it's inspired by. So again, so the more things you combine, this is stealing like an artist. So the thing is, steal like an artist but sell like an agency. So you the way you commoditize the art content is you think about the market, you think about the audience, you think about how to get customers in the door. That's thinking like an agency, that's thinking like a business person. And then the thing is, you use art for the execution. Use art to make something unique and cool and powerful. So you do that through largely. You can do that through derivative work. Lame artist copy, great artist steal. So
100%.
you take multiple sources of things that people already like, and you take what they like more and like most, and you combine it to something that, oh, never did I know that I need this before I saw I could have it. And then, okay, what's that worth to you? And so that's the key here. So that's kind of the thought process that I have when it comes to original art channels and the like.
And I love that idea of artists, like, because all creators are artists in their own way. Doesn't, like, a lot of people think art, they think traditional art, and there's so many different forms of that. One thing I always talk about with creators, they're like, well, I don't want to, no one's really done this. I'm like, no, you don't understand. This goes long before our time. One of my favorite artists is Michelangelo. If you look up here, you can see my mini statue of David. And I flag this because people are like, well, Michelangelo, had all these great ideas. He took from the Bible. He took from Donatello, who came before him. Da Vinci and his peers at the time all were inspired and copied one another. And it's normal to take inspiration and build. These are artists from 1400s that we can still learn from. There's a reason art and history are usually put together and art history exists, is because if we don't know our history, we're doomed to repeat it.
Well, also artists always talk about selling out. All the Renaissance painters mostly hated their patrons.
Yep.
Michelangelo painted obscenities into the Sistine Chapel, his greatest work, because he hated the I think it was an archbishop who commissioned it, or
The Pope, actually.
it was
The Pope.
was it Pope
Yes.
Urban? Was it Pope
I
Urban?
can't remember the specific Pope, but basically that Pope forced him to complete his work. He didn't want to work on it. He
He
was
wanted
forced
to
by
withdraw the
the.
commission. He wanted to like, he was
Yep.
like, okay, I'm going to finish this. So like he even painted unflattering caricatures of the Pope into the Sistine Chapel. So like he kind of found a way to dunk on his patron into the, oh, I'm gonna get you. So like he found a way to dunk on his boss. So again, to get to do the work they wanted, they would take on unflattering commissions from people they didn't like, kind of like working a 9 to 5 job for an employer you don't like. They did that all the time to get to make the stuff that they wanted to keep for themselves. Ironically, the work they wanted to keep for themselves is not what we remember them for. We remember them for some of the work they hated working on the most.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point for Michelangelo. He wanted to be known as a great sculptor, and what did we talk about? We just talked
Paintings.
about his famous paintings, right? But that goes to show that, like, when the art is separated from the artist for a long enough time, like I actually noticed this on his like official website. The first thing they list is he's a painter. And I thought that was so interesting because in his own personal notes, he says, he wrote to his brother, "Forgive me, my brother, I am not a painter." So it's so interesting how quickly things change. And I say all that to say, if you are watching this and you're like, no, I was working with a channel. They were like, I am a car auto repair channel. But all the videos that were doing well were about detailing. Now, keep in mind, detailing and cleaning is absolutely a part of the process. But they're like, no, my audience is mechanics. Mechanics are watching. I'm like, no, it's actually people watching you take care of cars in a different way than you thought. Still in the car niche, but it's not what we always think is what's going to be the thing. So my next question for you, Roberto, is, a lot of people think that long form videos are going to be the thing that makes their content, is going to make them all this money. What are ways that short form could help while they are working to build out that long?
Oh no, that's a great question. Well, like I said, the repurposing aspect and the reposting aspect gives you a maximum use of your existing inventory that took the least amount of effort to make. So the effort to earning ratio is more significant from short form. A lot of people are thinking about the capacity and the ceiling for earnings from long form, but they're forgetting the effort it takes to earn that, and that the effort to earning ratio per hour may actually be much better, at least initially, in short form. Even in the early days, for every hour you spend making short form, you would out earn the amount of long form. Because think about it like this perspective, Andrew. Yes, shorts have a 20-cent RPM, but what's a unique thing about shorts that is the enticing thing about them from a creator's perspective anyway?
They're short, you can go long form, and they have a longer
But there's
shelf
another,
life than most.
but there's another thing. There's another component of it. TikTok capitalized on this. What is it?
Hmm. TikTok capitalized on it. I don't know. You let me
Outsized
know.
reach. Outsized
True.
reach. Potential for viral. Vertical can go viral. Long form will not, usually. Vertical, even if you're a nobody, could go viral. And even
True.
if it doesn't go viral, you can still get 10x to 100x more views on average. Small creator with no audience can get 1,000 views on a short with no audience. They will struggle to get 100 views on a long form video. 88% of videos in long form never got 1,000 views anyway. We know
True.
that. So if that's the truth, if like 88% of videos in long form never even get 1,000 views, but you can get that with short form. So here's the difference. If you can't get 1,000 views with long form, but you get it with short form, what's the difference on a 20-cent RPM if the reach is 10x? It's the same thing as a $2 RPM then, because you were never going to get those 10,000 views on the long form anyway. So it's like having a $2 RPM. I don't know why anyone is whining about shorts, because if you're getting 10x to 100x the views, they're getting a $2 to $20 RPM anyway. If you get a
True.
20-cent RPM, if just based on the reach, it's a matter of perspective. Of like, shorts have 10x to 100x the reach, so I just 10x in my mind the RPM, and then it's not so bad. So it's a $2 RPM because of the reach. So
And to
if
speak on perspective, if I can, for a quick bit, you talked about like 1 to 3 minutes. A lot of long form I've seen from creators, they can't even get people to watch further past that.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're gonna, for the same amount of, oh my god, I'm editing, I'm doing this, if you just made it vertical, it would get 10 to 100 times the reach. So it's like, so what are you doing? Like, so you're
Exactly.
struggling for no good reason here, because you're romanticizing the form versus function argument. And you know
True.
me, I'm a functionist. You know, to the bane of many of my friends and colleagues in design and art, I'm like, function for me, I do accept that form follows function, meaning form is secondary to function. Functional first, pretty it up later. You know, make it work and then make it good.
Yeah.
So shorts is a make it work and then make it good argument, in my opinion, because you're proving the ability to get views, the ability to get subscribers, the opinion to get videos out, and you can make 10 of them easier than you can make 1 to 3 videos.
All right, Opus. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's true. Make 100 crappy videos. If you're an artist, your first drawings are gonna suck.
Yeah.
Unless you're God's gift, your first drawings are gonna suck. Your first paintings are gonna suck. You realize how much paper, ink, canvas, and photo slides you'd have to burn through to become competent if you want to ever be an artist. Yet people show up to YouTube thinking that they're God's gift to viral video and that they're entitled to an audience. And they get discouraged after 10 tries and everything like that. Name a sport where like sit there and like took 10 swings at the bat, 10 shots at the goal, and sunk any of them day one. You didn't. Like, no one has any humility anymore. No one has any humility anymore. And I understand it's embarrassing to build in public. That's why I just tell people, make 100 crappy videos, get it out of your system. It's not about posting to post. Everyone misquotes me. They think, oh, see, that's why there's slop on the channel. That's why there's slop channels out here, this, and that, and everything. He's advocating for quantity over quality. It's like quantity makes quantity because practice, effort, sacrifice, and showing up and doing the work matters. We have a problem, I think, culturally, where everyone thinks that they're entitled to greatness without suffering and greatness without doing the work. You have to refine your craft. A craftsman can't sit there. Every apprentice in true artisanship had to go through a coal pile, and what they wouldn't get is they wouldn't be given the best materials. They would be giving scraps to work with because you're not good enough to use the real materials yet. So we're going to have this. If you were in culinary arts, they start you on peeling the low-cost potatoes because they can't trust you with $1,000 truffle. They need to give you a 10-cent potato to work on so that you will do that correctly. He who is faithful in little is faithful in much. You have to be good at the little things, be good at the big things. So I have to show me that I can trust you with a 10-cent potato, because one day I'm going to ask you to cut a $1,000 truffle. So like a lot of people refuse because of building in public is embarrassing for them. And I get it. It's a human thing to not want to underperform. Is the price you pay for greatness is you have to suffer in your craft. You have to suffer in your craft. And I think 100 crappy videos is the beginning of the down payment on your tuition to get good at your craft. You're supposed to improve and show me at the end of your portfolio that video 100 is better than video 1 and tell me exactly how it's better than video 1. Tell me why video 101 is better than all of your first 10 and so on and so forth. Every craftsman, every artisan, every athlete, every musician, every line cook has to go through the process, and you cannot produce anything great without doing that. What they see, unfortunately, is they see a lot of YouTubers who are young YouTubers or even not so young YouTubers, and they don't realize that these people, this is not their first YouTube channel. No. Logan and Jake Paul were 3-time failed YouTubers before they blew up on Vine, and then they used Vine fame to blow up on YouTube. They failed YouTube 3 times. Mr. Beast failed YouTube 2 to 3 times before his main channel. And he made 460 videos to get 10,000 subscribers, and you guys are crying when you don't get results after 30 of them. This
Agreed.
guy made 100 videos to not even get 800 subscribers. It took him 2 years to get his first 1,000 subscribers on his 3rd channel trying to do it. 3rd time trying to be a YouTuber. 3rd time trying to be a YouTuber, and it took him 100 videos to get to 800 subscribers and 2 years to get to 1,000. It took him 460 videos to just crack 10,000 subscribers. That's Mr. Beast, biggest YouTuber in the world, 400 million. He had to suffer too. He had to do that. PewDiePie, still the once and future king of YouTube as far as I'm concerned. 100 videos, 2,500 subscribers. Marquez Brownlee has 20 million subscribers. His first 100 videos got him 78 subscribers.
And like, even if we look at others, like we have iJustine, people are like, she's just started to blow up. Like, it's funny because I'm seeing people say iJustine came out of nowhere, and if you've been on YouTube for a while, it's like came out of nowhere.
She's what the grandma of YouTube. iJustine has been out here in these YouTube streets for 20 years.
But it's funny because perspective is everything, right? And I think it's funny because I saw someone in a Discord recently. I'm like, have you seen this iJustine? They came out of nowhere. I'm like, what?
iJustine's YouTube channel is old enough to vote, have a kid, drive a car, own a business, start college, and take out an absurd student loan. iJustine's channel is old enough to take out a student loan, drive a car, vote in an election, and have a kid.
But it also goes to show, as much as we know iJustine and we know these other creators, there's always new audience. It's not oversaturated. You just have to get good, and making those 100 crappy videos is your entry point and your starter. It is the price you pay to get further in the game. Like, in order to run your marathon, you first must run your mile. You must first do the beginner steps. I give Roberto a little track because I know we've had an extensive discussion on track and stuff over
track and cross country games. Hey, second team all
exactly.
county, second team all county, silver medal, cross country track champion.
But you got to know your audience. I knew Roberto would like that. And as we know our audience, it's something Opus talks about, right? And it talks about understanding who you're reaching and why you're reaching for them. And, as I think of our audience, I want to once again bring up Agent Opus. If you would like your opportunity, see how you got to find your segues. But I say all this to say that I think the conversation we've been having, especially, is really important when it comes to not only the short term, pardon the play with all the shorts conversation, but the long term. And we have another question with, driving with Miles, and it is short form the gateway to build your channel and brand? It
Anything
absolutely could be.
anything like live streaming could be. Look, our friend Emily D. Baker. Everyone like
Yeah,
doesn't think live streaming; they think of Twitch. YouTube beat TikTok at short form, and it's beat Twitch at live stream. The numbers don't lie, and it beat television at live broadcast and live streaming. YouTube has defeated every vertical. It's beating Spotify at podcasting. YouTube has defeated every other platform and every other media format and every other vertical except for the written word. And I don't know if they ever decide they're gonna spin the block on that one, like, and just take it all. Like, it's the only thing they haven't done, right? And so I say all that to say that anything can be your gateway to building your channel. Emily D. Baker, our good friend, did it with live streaming. Lead Attorney did it with live streaming. All the law tubers did it with live streaming. There are people right now using live streaming and using live stream to podcast as a format and growing massive channels in commentary. And it's a huge thing. There are people they're exclusively growing with live streaming. Look at Kai Sanat and iShowSpeed.
true.
They're known for streaming. There are so many people that are only known for streaming, and then all anyone watches is VODs and shorts of those live streams, of those live events. It's their reality TV. So live streaming can be the gateway to building your YouTube channel. Short form can be. Look at Jordan Howlett. Okay,
Yeah,
he's basically the face of YouTube Shorts at this point. Again, he started with TikTok. He's the face of YouTube Shorts now. It's Shorts can be the gateway to your channel. There are so many people making a living from fact of the day type style evergreen YouTube shorts on celebrity facts, weird facts of history, science, pop, or just weird facts in general, borrowing from OG YouTuber. We now have an army of people basically who stole Matthew Santaro's format and have become shorts creators. We have an
true.
army of Matthew Santaro's, and shout out to a real one, shout out to an old one, to an old head. It's like OG YouTuber. Everyone is just eating off of him, but in short form now, and are making $5,000 to $8,000 a month, living a really nice lifestyle off of their short form content, just using his weird facts format that he was known for as a big OG YouTuber. So, like, that's a whole thing. But there are also people doing live stream reaction commentary, Asmongold style. He's paved the way. And they're just saying they're doing live stream reactions and cutting the VODs, going live to tape, and making their money doing that. People have done it also with the reality TV show format borrowed from Howard Stern. I would argue that Ethan Klein has built the new Howard Stern show with H3
Fair.
Productions. So that's the as Howard Stern is going off the air and Ethan Klein replaces him. But so like I digress. It's like anyone can take any path. It's not set in stone. There's so many ways to build a brand on YouTube. And like I said, I've identified, and we're mapping, I'm going to publish this at some point, over 188 unique, distinct niches in YouTube. And we've come out to about roughly 12 styles of videos, about 11 styles with 12 being hybrid, the hybrid style, where you combine something out of the other 11. So we have that. There are technically four types of creators, because the fourth is hybrid. There are three types of creators, Andrew. There are educators, there are entertainers, and there are lifestyle creators. And then the fourth is a hybrid.
100% agreed. And I think that those who find success, a lot of them are hybrids. They find how to be good at multiple. And one thing I want to mention is that all these things are skills. How much are you putting into them? How much are you working on your craft, right? So you asked, is short form the gateway to build your channel and brand? For some creators, it absolutely is. Like, I think of the Jenny Hoyoses, who is a friend of the OpusClip channel. I think of so many amazing creators who are using it not as a gateway, but they're just building their brand. I think that's also something I keep seeing is, I just want to use this as a gateway to the thing I care about. And what's happening is you're not putting in the right effort where you need to, and you're finding bad results. If I'm only running 100 feet, and I tell Roberto, I'm running my mile, it's not working, Roberto's going to be like, you've run 100 feet. What are you talking about? You got a lot more to go.
You're playing like a sprinter, Andrew. It's like, what are you talking
Exactly.
about? This isn't long distance. You train for a mile by doing a 10K, my friend.
Exactly. And so I think that is so important for us to keep in mind. And it goes back to the heart of this conversation is how do you make money on YouTube Shorts, especially with AI, with OpusClip in the mix? And it is you've got to not discount your shorts process. You got to give it your full effort. And I think that is something I keep seeing when it comes to YouTube Shorts or any vertical video
Well, they're
going
thinking of it
back.
as disposable. They're thinking of it as disposable.
Yes.
They're worried about it being a fad and going away. They're thinking about how little it pays instead of how far it reaches. And
Yep.
they're also not thinking about, like, the effort to do this is a fraction of the effort to do this other thing, and it has a chance of outperforming it, like effort to earning ratio. And the other thing is they keep thinking about making money on YouTube Shorts instead of making money off their short form videos
True.
everywhere in every way that they can, everywhere in every way that they can.
And that doesn't even get into sponsorships. I've seen YouTube Shorts be sponsored for up to $30,000. I got $30,000 for one YouTube short. They told me that they would have to work for 8 months in their previous job to earn that much.
That's my
And I'm
whole
like,
12-month salary.
right. And so you think about it, there are some people who are making 725, which in the US is still federal minimum. That's near double that on one short. So I see another comment, Homekeeping Channel says I have a long video that long form and no one watched. So I made it into a short and it's currently at 380,000 views on the short. And that goes to show that sometimes we have an idea in one platform and it might actually work better in another. And that's why you should experiment. That's
If you
why you
take
don't discount it.
Homekeeping Channel, if you take that short and you also post it to Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram Reels, and Facebook Reels, and maybe even X, that same video combined can have 1 million views. And the
True.
reason a lot of you should be doing this is then if you want sponsors, when you can show them across platforms in aggregate that you can get 1 million views in aggregate on individual videos, or that your portfolio of short form has millions of views because you can scale that because you can be like this platform, this platform, this platform, but you have that total to lead with at the top. I got this many views. I have 1 billion lifetime views. Yeah, 6 platforms though. Like but that's a great marketing ploy. And it's like, okay, what's a package like? And can we be on more than one of your platforms? Or can we do a little bit of this, a little bit of that? Hey, we've got a budget for this platform, but we also have an Instagram budget. We got a YouTube budget, but we also got an Instagram budget. You got an Instagram? Oh, cool. Hey, we got a TikTok budget. Hey, this is like, hey, you came back. Hey, you didn't perform that well on this platform for the campaign, but you killed it over here. Let's work
Yep.
together again, but this time let's focus on that platform, and then these can be extras, but we really like the results over here. You have more results, you have more to show for it. It's why in my stuff, our friend Justin Moore is the sponsor magnet. He's the creator wizard. He's the brand deal wizard, and he's got his book here, sponsor magnet.
So good.
But I also teach people about brand deals, and I have a framework called the deal framework. Deliverables, more platforms, more content, more inventory, it's more deliverables, and it's more proof, and it's more opportunities to get analytics and results. You get to put numbers on the board. You get more swings at bat. So you want that. You get more innings if you have more platforms. So that's why I'm platform agnostic. That's why I love short form from this concept of, again, I was waiting for shorts to go to 3 minutes. I wasn't worried about the ad revenue. I was worried about the time. I'm
Yep.
me. I yap a lot. So I was worried about the time. So I wanted it that. Now my plan is to take the appendix from my book and reframe the 20 main questions in my appendix 5 different ways, and pump out 100 shorts off that, and then post it to 5 different platforms. And so you see, and get 20 questions turned into 500 videos. That's Roberto's framework, right? But my deals framework is deals are deliverables, exclusivity, amplification, and licensing. The more content and platforms you have, you can license more content to brands and make them to pay to renew a license on work you already did. Free money. Okay. Amplification. You have bigger platforms. Brands will pay you to amplify their existing posts. You don't even have to make content. And then exclusivity. You can get exclusivity deals because, hey, we want exclusivity. You could barter and say, well, you can't be the only brand of your type on my YouTube, but I can give you exclusivity on my TikTok or on my Instagram or both of those. But I've already got this other deal over here on the YouTube side. It's like, okay, you know what? We can work with that. Or, hey, when your deal is up with them, let's talk about locking you in for 6 months of exclusivity. We got more money for you. So now you have a lever to pull. So deliverables, the amount of assets, that's a lever. Exclusivity is a lever. Amplification is a lever. And licensing is a lever. We have 4 levers we can pull to make more money that have nothing to do with how many views we get. That's what I teach.
No, and I see a comment here that's like, you make it sound easy, but the problem is you need to hit 10 million on YouTube to monetize. That's if you're
No,
going
you
for
don't.
full monetization for shorts in particular. And they've recently lowered it. I think it's 3,500,000 subscribers, and you said you're at 3 to 6 million. So while full monetization, it's never been easy. Like it, a lot of times,
It's not easy.
like
It's simple.
it's
And he's
simple
making
and
he's conflating that I make it sound easy. No, I don't make it sound easy. I'm the guy who just talked about hard work. I
yes.
make it sound simple because it's math. Because by the way, here's your hack. Use the shorts to get the subscribers. You don't need 10 million views. You need to convert 100,000 views 1% of the time to being subscribers to get the subscriber number. So that's number 1. It's 1% of 100,000 views, and you can get those with shorts. Number 2, you want to use and abuse the shorts feed for watch time, use vertical live streams instead of shorts. And instead of trying to get the shorts views to 10 million, you abuse the watch time by using the vertical feed for shorts. Because if you do that and you've grown those subscribers and you're making the short form, the watch time that you need per day in 12 months, Andrew, is 12 hours a day per 12 months to get monetized. So if you're doing 90-minute to 2-hour live streams and you can get 20 concurrent viewers, you're going to get it. 24 hours every single day of watch time gets you to monetization in 6 months. 48 hours a day every day gets you to monetization in 3 months. And why do I know? I've worked with 100 creators. I've even worked with gaming channels who notoriously struggle with this stuff. And I've worked with 100 gaming channels in the last 2.5 years around mobile gaming content specifically. So I've even got a gold play button here from a gaming channel that I helped grow to 1 million subscribers here and helped do a 6-figure merch launch. So it's not about it being easy. It's about it being simple math and then abusing the numbers with bloody shadow clones called uploading more content, more content, more content. Clone yourself with your content and put in the absurd amount of work. No, it's not about being easy. I'm giving you a mathematical formula. If you literally work every day and you go and you do the live streams in vertical every day, where YouTube outsized offers you an audience, whether you have one or not, with the vertical live streaming, there are content creators abusing this every day. And YouTube, you can get, if you're struggling to get 10 to 20 concurrent viewers, that's a you problem. Like, that's a you problem. And if you can't hold attention and hold 20 concurrent viewers a day, every day, for 6 months, and hold that attention and get 20 concurrent viewers and get 20 hours of watch time a day, 24 hours of watch time a day to get it in 6 months, that's a you problem. That's a you're not that interesting. So level up or rethink your career here. You have to be interesting. No one said that was going to be easy either. So it's like, you can be interesting, or you can be talented, or you can be attractive. You got to bring something to the table here that people value. So you got to do it, whatever it takes, legally, and you do that. So
Yes.
my answer is abuse it. Show up and stream once a day, twice a day, hell, in 90-minute to 2-hour sessions, and get those concurrent views and get 24 to 48 hours worth of watch time a day by building a watch time trap. If you're really smart, make sure there's replay value in those live streams so that you can get replay views of people putting this on in the background and then running up the numbers on the live stream that way. And I've watched people, I had a creator that was just live streaming walking downtown in Japan, in Tokyo, Shibuya, and Shinjuku, and Akihirabi every day because he had to walk to his job every day anyway. So he would just, whenever he's walking to his job or from his job, he would live stream the sites in wherever he was going. And when he would go to other places, like on the weekend, he would go to like Shibuya or Shinjuku on the weekend or whatever, he would stream that walking around, and you'd see the sights of Japan, and people would tune into that. But people would also just watch the replay of that in vertical, and he got the live streaming numbers off of that. And he got it in 2 months. He got the watch time off the live streaming in 2 months with that. Also, a couple of them popped off because people just like the sights of Japan and like seeing the festival, because I think he got stuff from the Cherry Blossom Festival. So again, just
Amazing.
abuse vertical live streams and you get the watch time. Do the shorts, abuse that, and you get the subscribers. You're making it harder than it needs to be, and you're making it more complicated than it needs to be. You don't need to get the 10 million views. There's another path, and
Yeah.
it's right there, and it's still vertical video. Boom, you're done.
And I think that, you talk about things, the difference between simple and easy is definitely there. And I think that when it comes to that, that's often, misconstrued. I think one thing that isn't, though, is that when you focus on things that can make it easier for you, things like Opus tools, right? Like I could go out in the woods right now and try to chop down a tree with my bare hands. Technically, I could do it, but I'm going to be there for a long time. Or I can just grab an axe, a chainsaw, and I'm moving with speed and efficiency, right? And one of the things that you can move with speed and efficiency for, Roberto, you know what it is. It's Agent Opus. So we got to work on those segues, right? So if you are just joining or if you're watching this in the replay, you should definitely come and check out these live streams. We do valuable things like this where we give back to the community. We're always community focused. So with that, I'm going to give this a little bit more, but Roberto, I know that you teach monetization, you teach YouTube. There's so much you teach. And I think that one of the things that really resonated with me is just like reframing the value. Sometimes we are focusing and training the wrong thing. We're looking and we're taking the wrong lessons, and that's normal. That happens a lot in the creative process. So as we are looking and learning from these things, it's also very important, and we're going to go ahead and run this now. It's important for us to keep in mind that this is a long-term game. And the winner we
100%.
have is L. I know you might take the L sometimes, but today you're the winner. So L, please reach out to us.
Sorry, I was looking for my air horn. And
no worries. There we go. L, go ahead and reach out over on Discord. I made sure to, pin one of your comments here. We'll do our best to reach out. If you have an email on your channel, that's usually the best way they reach out. But Roberto, I just wanted to say massive thank you for joining us here today. Where can people find you if they don't already know?
You can find me at Roberto Blake in YouTube and pretty much every social media. If you want to work with me, you can check out awesomecreatoracademy.com. You should also just check out awesomecreatoracademy.com, not only for coaching and products, but we actually have some of the best articles on YouTube information. I did a breakdown of how many channels have 1 million subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, how many channels there are on YouTube in the entire world. I also did a breakdown of everything you need to know about this new AI age verification policy, and I answered 20 questions about it in recent article we did over there. So make sure you're checking out awesomecreatoracademy.com to work with me and learn more about being a content creator. And again, you can find me on all the socials at Roberto Blake. For Instagram, you're going to see behind the scenes of my tech gear and setup, also some motivational content. So I do that over there. The YouTube channel, you'll learn more about being a content creator. And I might actually do some video editing tutorials again. And if you hit me up on X, you get to hear me rant and rave about everything and anything and why capitalism is awesome. And also you can ask me any questions over there on how to be a better content creator. I usually answer them very publicly so that everybody can learn. Just be nice or you'll become a teachable moment.
And as always, you can learn more about OpusClip and all the work they're doing here on the OpusClip YouTube channel. Roberto, thank you so much. I'll make sure to put some of those links in the description. Everyone watching, thank you for your time, and I hope you have a great day. Go out and implement some of the amazing things we talked about today, and let us know what you did in those comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching.